All right, guys. Welcome to This Week in Digital Marketing. I'm with my co-host, James Lacey, and I am Jacky. This week, we're going to be going over one marketing tip from each of us, Made.com's $7 million sale or $3 million sale, Apple Search, Mastodon's huge increase in users, our first thoughts, what it is, and Google's recency study. It's actually not Google's, but yeah, let's just go over it today. So, what are you working on this week?
Man, I've got a shit ton of stuff going on with obviously Black Friday coming up, but I'm actually changing both my sites into subscription models because I want their monthly recurring revenue. So that's been going down at the moment, getting everything moved over. I've launched it on one site, and then I'm going to launch the Black Friday promo next week. And then the other site, I've almost finished getting everything over, and that'll all be under subscription on that one. Yeah, it's pretty full. Yourself?
Cool. Yeah, can we dive a bit deeper into that? What kind of subscription are you talking about?
Yeah, sure. So this is through a white labeled app. So essentially it's training programs on the app, and then all the payment stuff are processed through that under one subscription. Use Zapier to piece it all together, where they get invited to a Mighty Network community. And when within that community, I've got coaches from, depending on the site, but I've got different coaches from elite level sport, et cetera, that are in there that can essentially help whoever is the customer and when they're part of it. So all of that's under one subscription. There's also online courses in that community too. So I've kind of just put everything together where it used to be one-off sales. For example, the funnel was training program or one-time offer of the training program, and then upsell into courses. And then at one point it was upsell into community, but I just pieced it down to automated one subscription. Now I'm going to slowly increase the price over time.
Yeah, cool. Did you, which app are you using for the community?
Mighty Networks I'm using for the community.
Mighty Networks. Oh, I think you mentioned it, sorry.
Yeah.
And how are you liking it so far?
Yeah.
How much does it cost you?
It's not cheap. It's like I'm paying monthly, so $120 a month.
Holy fuck. That's pretty expensive.
Yeah, but it's basically all inclusive, like your all inclusive software. So you have you can host all your videos on there. You can do your live Q&As on there, and it records it and saves it and stuff. So I was like, okay, it's worth it in terms of that. I was testing out between that and Circle. And I'm a member of a group of a community on Circle. I like it. It just looks real basic, and Circle's basically as Facebook without the colors. So yeah, I mean, Circle's still good for that stuff too, but I think for what I was after, Mighty Network seemed to fit. I mean, I was going to just go down the free route and use like Discord and Facebook and stuff, and then I was like, then you don't own the traffic, or you don't own your own little platform, and Discord is, I think, better geared towards, I guess, the younger crowd or certain niches, crypto.
Yeah. Crypto neckbeards? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice. Excuse me. Yeah, for this week, I'm personally working on Far and Away stuff. So that's our DTC brand. We have a pop-up store going live this week in London, central London, near the Soho area.
Oh,
it's pretty stressful. No, but that's in collaboration with a branding agency. So they got 5 different brands doing a store, and we're actually seeing a huge uptick in UK sales from that, because it's in a pretty prestigious area in London. And
dude, how's your TikTok videos going?
For Far and Away, it's not great.
Yeah.
That was a flop.
Yeah.
It did okay on Instagram, so it got like 15K views. So that's pretty good. Excuse me. Got to cut that one out. And for my other brands,
I'm the same as you, man. I'm still recovering.
Yeah, for the other brands, it's going pretty well, I would say. I'm not sure if you saw the Twitter thread. I'm doing like the challenge. We're going to do 2 TikToks a day, every day for 3 months. And that is going incredibly well. So we're in the architecture niche. So we got like very creative with certain things. And it's so far not much traffic driven directly to the site, but we're getting a lot of followers on Instagram and YouTube. TikTok, we haven't been able to crack yet. Yeah, I highly recommend you get on that. Dude, I'm not sure what kind of videos you can do, but yeah.
I hate TikTok anyway. TikTok sucks, man.
Hopefully we can get you to come around throughout these episodes. Besides that, we also have like agency work. We're prepping for Black Friday, similar to you. So we have a link building service, and I'm sure you've seen that. And right now we're also editing long form YouTube videos for our architecture site. That's popping off. We have a video right now sat at 23K views, and that was just launched a week and a half ago. So that's a huge dub.
Damn.
Yeah, wild. It's just, I feel like YouTube's kind of one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. So it's like you get organic views, and if you embed it in your website that already ranks, it pushes more views, and the more views it gets, it ranks higher on YouTube. So it's kind of, and then you push it back onto your own website. So it's like pretty sick, and that's going extremely well. So I'm pretty bullish on YouTube right now. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on this week. I'm not sure if you do this with your wife yourself, but I think on My First Million Pod, they kind of push that you give your partner a handwritten note every morning telling her what you're doing. But I guess you work pretty closely with your partner, right? So she generally knows.
Yeah. One of my brands is me, and then my other brand is done together. So we're pretty much
exactly, because
talking on the stuff.
Yeah, must be nice, because for me, my girlfriend might not know what I'm doing throughout the day, because it would be like a full 8 hours before I even speak to anyone. And so I just kind of started off the day by writing her a note typically, and that's been going pretty well.
Dude, relationship advice 101 here on the podcast. Now we're
exactly.
And we're going to start being affiliates for dating sites now and stuff on here.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I think we wanted to start off the pod with one marketing tip from each one of us. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I've just got
have you implemented
something that I'm just currently doing with my review style content. I don't think it's not anything groundbreaking for anyone, but I don't see many sites doing it, and none of my niche. So essentially, doing your best, whatever it is, article as your main topic, and you have all your long tails within there. And then I've just been literally doing individual reviews on the products in my big review and then interlinking them. And that's just been killer. So that's something very basic that I've found. And that's regardless of search volume. Like my individual reviews, they don't have any search volume, no one's searching that shit. There's literally no articles or no reviews of that product on Google because no one's searching it. But I'll still write it, and I'll still link that back to my main review and link my main review to the individual product review as well.
So it would be like, for example, best protein powder 2022, and the number one would be Optimum Nutrition chocolate. And then you would write Optimum Nutrition chocolate review and link back to it, and the best protein powder would link to that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll do that for most of the product. If I'm game, I'll do it for every product. But at some point, I'm just like, no, I'm sick of writing how many of these. But they're short, man, because individual reviews can't be that long, especially when if it's on Optimum Nutrition protein powder. I'm going to cover things like taste, mixability, ingredients, nutrition, like macro breakdown, and price maybe, and then cover pros and cons, stuff like that. And then by that time, it's like a little over 500 words. That's nothing, but just be able to link that back to the article and then link the article back to that. It ends up being, that's just been really good.
Yeah, that sounds good. And you said 500 words typically. And do you always try the products you review? Because that seems to be an issue with some niche site people on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I'm doing that. The articles I'm writing, yes. I've got a couple of my writers that I've had write some without, but they've got knowledge in the niche because they coach and use the stuff. But the best thing is I already ranked for these articles, but I'm in the process. I'll eventually start buying more of the stuff and then just being able to continually update the article, update the publish date, update with new pictures, new content, all that kind of stuff, and over again as I get more stuff. So that's the plan. And just literally have every review article with original pictures, original everything, original video, all of it. So that's the plan.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that goes in well into my marketing tip. It's more geared towards niche site owners, but I think I tweeted this out a couple weeks ago as well. I typically do it once a month or once every 2 months. And I changed the publish date to most recent date for my blog posts. And I do that for sites I've owned for a while, sites I want to push from ranks 5 to 10 up to top 5. And that's one of the things I do when I buy a website. I immediately change it to generic press theme, slap on a nice theme, design it nicely, and change all blog posts to most recent date. And that typically gives it a jump. And then I would optimize the blog posts after the jump to try to maintain it and go from there.
Oh yeah,
it's actually
and the best thing is
some crazy success.
Yeah, and the best thing is that you do the articles so they're good enough, and then you got an excuse to keep going back and just updating little bits, and then you can change the publish date, update little bits, change the publish date over and over again, and then I'm with you, man. Like the recency thing is huge.
Yeah, and I think sometimes if I'm lazy, I don't even change any content. I just change the publish
you just change the date.
Yeah, and that pops up immediately. It works extremely well for tech niches, because tech's all about recency, and it's pretty well that it works. I think another one that I want to speak on was your original content images, or like we call it UGC and D2C. So that means like user generated content. When you write reviews, you typically take some nice photos and then you post it on your website. Hopefully Google will see that it's original content. But what happens if we're trying to build niche sites or reviews at scale and we're unable to purchase all these things? Or if it's a huge, I don't know, you can't purchase every single MacBook out there, for example, and you want to review them. An unethical hack would be to sharpen up your Canva skills and just add some stock image in, or images you find on Amazon, remove background, add in your own background, take a picture of your table, add in the own image, and then it's original content. And if you want to get a bit more smart with Google's unable to find images that you mirrored. So what that means is like you just flip it on itself.
Just flip them.
And Google's unable to find it. Yeah, just new original images coming through. And yeah, that works.
Or you can search Facebook Marketplace too and just download those pictures. Of people say you should message them and ask them if you can use it, but you can always just download it and do the same thing.
No, they won't. They probably won't do that. A bit unethical. We're just trying to make the money online.
Just click the button and get those cookies.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. I'm not sure if you saw or if you've ever heard of this brand. It's called Made.com. And they were a bit more into the space. So this actually came as a huge surprise to me. But Made.com, to give the audience a bit more background, is a D2C company. So that means direct to consumer. It was a publicly traded company on the London Stock Exchange, valued at about $1 billion about a year ago. And they just went bankrupt and they sold their brand name. So i.e. the domain name Made.com and all their branding for $3 million. That's a huge loss because they raised about 135 million US dollars to date in like VC funding, angels, etc., etc. They were also doing about $500 million in annual revenue, and they went bankrupt. There were also other brands such as Touch of Modern, which was doing 120 million in annual revenue, and they also went through something similar, and they sold their assets for $7 million. So I think,
damn,
yeah, it's pretty wild because it's similar to what we spoke about with the Facebook layoffs. So what happened is pretty much they saw a huge surge of consumer behavior during COVID because everyone's shopping online. And after COVID died down, the consumers didn't come back. They didn't come back as they expected it. And they were running all projections based off of that. And they were unable to sustain themselves because there were no massive layoffs throughout the months. So they had a huge churn. It's just revenue dropped like a rock. So pretty much their burn rate was way too high. And now they've gone bankrupt. But I think this is more on the side of the leadership. This is something like, for example, we spoke about how people blast Mark Zuckerberg, but he pretty much would save Facebook in this scenario because Made didn't do anything of the sort. They didn't cut down drastically. They didn't cut down everything to a slow burn. They kind of just ran it into the ground. And I think this is a pretty strong indication of what's to come. I hate preaching it every week, but I think the slowdown in consumerism is a pretty strong indicator. And we have a couple of things looming in the market, which is pretty scary. But yeah, you
So what
should
would
check
you
out
do
what's
if you
happening.
bought that domain? If you bought that branding and domain, what would you do with it? Would you relaunch it?
So yeah, pretty much. I think they were sold to another online retailer called Next or something like that, and they're probably gonna operate it as is, and they're gonna absorb the branding, run it in house. So all their personnel. I haven't read much about Next, but I'm sure they're running profitably, and they're probably gonna run it with their in-house team, with their own processes and sourcing team, et cetera, because I think Made was also hit with a lot of supply chain issues. But all that is fine now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now someone spoke on when I first posted this, someone's commented in the Twitter thread, that D2C is going to see a lot more pain in the coming months, because what happened is during COVID, a lot of them got tons of VC funding. And what D2C typically, what you do is you try to capture as much market share as possible. So you burn a ton of cash running ads in the hopes of being profitable one day. If COVID hit, it's going to COVID slowdown. It's post-COVID slowdown. It's gonna be terrifying for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of these e-commerce aggregators. So what they do is they buy e-com sites, D2C sites. They're gonna have a field day in a couple of months. It's gonna be a lot of pain in Q1, I think.
Damn. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, obviously with rates and inflation and all that too coming along with it, people aren't spending as much money.
Yeah, that's also going to translate to niche sites as well. So who's paying for these display ads? Who's paying these affiliate commissions? So that's going to have a trickle down effect onto us in the coming months. I think we'll feel it probably Q2, Q3, and it's gonna, there's gonna be pain. I think I'll try to offload some niche sites in January just for whatever multiples I can get, and hold the big ones for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you looked into Apple search engine at all? They're doing one, right?
Yeah, I heard they're doing one, and honestly, it's probably the only thing that would actually, in my opinion, rival Google, because it would be set as the default on an iPhone. So every iPhone user would ideally be searching on it. So that would capture at least enough market cap for it to make it probably viable for people to start looking to try and rank on it.
Yeah, I think it's so smart of them to do this, because you know how they destroyed Facebook, right? With the iOS privacy update. We value privacy, so we're not going to let Facebook track you, but we track you.
Yeah.
So we're
But
going to launch
bring
our
out their
own
own.
network.
But they bring out their own. Yeah, they told you their own network. So that's a good play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to trigger any antitrust issues in the US, because that's pretty much a monopoly then, right? Because they destroy their own competitors and launch a similar product. So interesting to see what's going to happen. Yeah, but I think you're right. Google needs some competitors, even though we both probably rely heavily on Google traffic for our revenue. But I think it's good to have some extra players. I don't know if you get any other search engine traffic, for example, like Bing or DuckDuckGo.
Not much.
Yeah, because I have some sites which are sat on at like 15 to 20%. Funny enough, it's actually the AI sites that get a lot of Bing traffic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's wild. But that's probably because of the rank math instant rank API. If you've ever checked that on Bing, it's like actually instant index. So if you haven't installed that, definitely install that.
Yeah, I've played around with that a bit, but Bing I don't know why. Bing just doesn't like my sites. I get how many thousands of traffic from Google, but then Bing is just like a few people a day.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Mastodon, Twitter's new competitor?
No, I've heard of the name, but fill me in and fill the audience in too, because they're probably in the same boat as me.
Yeah, so I think Mastodon is a German corporation, and their whole idea is, so they're run by a nonprofit. It's pretty interesting. They've been growing extremely fast, especially after Elon bought Twitter. It's slightly different from Twitter because it's a open source platform. So that means all the code is, you can probably copy it immediately and run it by itself. But it's ran on several different like servers or instances. So think like each server would have its own terms of service. So let's say you're allowed to have hate speech in one of them, and another one is it's more highly regulated in this server. So it has its own nodes or like own groups of mini communities of people, let's just say that. So mini Twitters. So actually, I think this in itself would prevent it from having a huge knock-on effect. It's just having some success right now because of Elon taking over Twitter. But I think just because of this, it makes finding your friends like pretty hard on Mastodon. So that in itself, it's a no for me. It's gonna be dead in a couple months, I think. But it's pretty interesting to see how it just picked up. It was actually launched friggin' like 6 years ago, and it just caught on.
Oh shit!
It's clunky. It's slow. I was like browsing it. It's not built to scale, so I think.
So you gotta select which like little mini community or node you want to be on, and you can switch between them.
So they have a discovery area as well. I think like their homepage, they'll like just show you a bunch of shit that's having a bunch of engagement from different nodes or servers or I don't know what they call it, instances. Yeah, and you can decide to join them based off of the discovery on the homepage. So I guess it's a bit better in that sense. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one. The CEO might be able to execute properly because they're getting some good press. But I feel like it might be one of those Clubhouse things where it just blows up and then blows down really quickly. So yeah, I think they had some weird names for things. It was like a toot is like a tweet. And a boost is like a read. It's like a very obvious copy. But boost, I guess, kind of makes sense.
Have you heard of? There's another. I wouldn't say similar app, but another app that apparently blew up. I think it was called Be Real, and it was trying to like. It was almost like a hybrid. Yeah, you do use it?
Yeah, I have 10 friends on
for
that.
Personal or for business?
No, for personal. Just it's funny to see what friends are doing during random times during the day. It's kind of like Snapchat. It reminds me of Snapchat.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's only there for 12 hours, isn't it? Like your picture or video, whatever you post.
Yeah, exactly. It's more, I think it's geared towards more candid photos of yourself and like what you're doing at a time. So it keeps your friends updated. It's not like those aesthetically pleasing photos, but TikTok's copying it right now. I don't know if you saw. They have like TikTok Now or something like that. It's exactly the same. It's like direct copy. So savage.
So they're gonna kill it.
So savage.
They're gonna kill it.
yeah. They did a Zuck on that. It's pretty savage.
It depends though. If TikTok potentially gets banned in the USA, then what?
Then I'm a YouTube Shorts guy now.
VPNs are posted for the Chinese market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have Chinese TikTok actually. So I got to see what kind of products they're working on next. It's pretty interesting to see. I don't know. Yeah, you can change your location on the App Store and then you can download TikTok. It's called Douyin. And you can see the types of, you're pretty much going to see what's TikTok going to be like in 2 years in the US market. So they're going to have like integrated e-commerce stores. It's like one-click shops. So people do live streams and then they'll have a hovering like buy now button. And it saves all your details. You just click purchase and you buy off these live streams. It's a huge thing in China, actually. So, for example, my friend's cousin, my friend's cousin would be like, so my friend's cousin would be like, yeah, I'm gonna end the night just like watching some live streams and buying shit I don't need, and it's like part of their daily routine now. It's wild.
And wasn't Instagram going to do something similar? They were going to integrate the shop into the live streams and things like that. Oh, or maybe it was YouTube. I think it was YouTube that was going to do it. One of the platforms was going to do that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think you don't use TikTok, so that's a shame we can't talk about it. But they have that right now. There's like live streams of like people just, I don't know, building their own products. Or I think there's a huge market right now in the US if there's someone like hand pouring candles for like 8 hours straight and then you're like pouring some dude's candles and write James on it and you ship it out. Because that's what happened. That's what's happening in China, and it's the same algorithm. So, yeah, let's hope it gets banned so we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's head to the last topic. It was, I'm not sure if I sent over the link, but it was like some agency did a study of Google reviews for local SEO. Do you do any local SEO?
No, none. But you were talking about relevancy and recency earlier
Yeah.
anyway, and obviously this applies to actual testimonial reviews too, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more for local SEO. They saw a correlation that with rankings versus review recency. But this might be like one of those correlation is not causation type of thing. Because if you have more reviews recently, it might show that you're in more active business because you have more traffic because you're number one on Google. You know what I mean? So it might not actually be the correlation, but it's an interesting review. Everyone should kind of look through it. It essentially says the more recent reviews you have, the higher you'll rank on Google for local SEO. And I didn't actually believe that, but maybe it is from a more consistent point of view. So I don't know, the top Italian restaurants will consistently get 5-star reviews throughout. It'll be months. And then Google will see, okay, this is probably a good business. Let's send them, keep sending them more traffic. You know what I mean? But it's something to see what will keep going, because it feels like Google reviews are easily abused. You can just send it to all your friends, 50 friends, and just, hit me up with a 5-star.
That's what I was going to say. Could you just bot this?
You could, but you also risk getting your Google My Business location taken away. But yes, you can easily do this. I think you can buy it. I think the market rate's $2 to $10. Google, I've never done it. Don't come after me. But yeah, it's $2 to $10. If you want, link in my bio.
New service.
Yeah, new service coming through. Unique IPs on all Google accounts. No, I think it's an interesting play. I think if there's any way for you to convert something into local SEO, you should totally do it. If you ever have an aspiration to own a gym, that's the way, man.
Dude, gyms don't make money, man. Gyms are fucking money pits.
Who's real. The guy? You're telling me Alex Hormozy with Gym Launch doesn't do anything?
Yeah, but they're selling fucking whatever packages to, like, he's growing the gyms, and obviously the gyms start to make money. But man, gyms are like the amount of stuff you're paying and the member, like, and there's so many different models. Obviously, like 24-hour fitness, you're banking on the numbers model, right? $10 a month, or Planet Fitness, $10 a month, just churning members. And then you've got maybe a more boutique model where you're charging $100+ a month or $50 a month. But man, you're paying for equipment, upkeep, rent, lease, whatever it is, or your utilities on top of that. And then your coaches, you have to have coaches in there. You have to churn through coaches. You have to manage that. The hours, most people come early morning, late evening. So you got those hours to fill, man. I've seen too many gyms not make money. Like, it's so not worth it.
Yeah, I think it's getting pretty competitive. But I've looked into the model before, because after seeing Alex Hormozy, I think there are ways. Yeah. You have to upsell them on like personal training shit and like protein powders, your own private labeled protein powder. So it'd be like,
exactly,
the Lacey protein, and it's literally a generic protein powder that everyone has. You just sell it for double the price. Yeah. But yeah, I think if you ever wanted to get into personal training, I guess that's the way.
Yeah, man, I've done a personal training in my time, obviously, before as a way to make money while working for free in professional sport. That's how professional sport works. If anyone's wondering, you work for free for however long, and then when you get into professional sport, they pay you fuck all. So most people who work in professional sport have to have something on the side, and that's what they do. But it's it's personal training sucks, man. Yeah, professional sport is like that, man. And contracts don't matter, nothing. You can win whatever, but if the head coach goes, as a support staff, you're likely to go as well. Literally, like mid-season, you can just be cut. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Shit like that. It's pretty crazy.
That's why you got to build an audience, and then you can eventually sell your own product as a athlete.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah, maybe we can speak on that another day. We can maybe go over an athlete who probably wasn't paid well during his time as a professional athlete and did well after his tenure as a athlete. I think there's a lot of stories with that.
For sure.
There's a couple. Yeah, could be
athletes and coaches.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for listening. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to subscribe. I don't know, smash that 5-star button on Spotify if you're listening there. Hit like on YouTube, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us.
And reviews. Reviews
and shit. Yeah. Fuck us up with that. Thank you guys. Yeah, take it easy.
Cheers.
But I say all the time, but I still have a significant amount of money in Binance. Just hope they never cloud.
Do you trust Binance?
I do trust Binance. Yeah, CZ's my daddy, man.